Hi, welcome to the Boiling Point. I'm me. This is him. Today we'll be talking about Remembrance Day. Before we start on our rant, I would like to thank the men and women of the Canadian Armed Forces for their services in Afghanistan and their services throughout all conflicts, World War I, World War II, anything else that we were a part of, and the American Armed Forces, the British, any NATO, any allied forces that have been helping.
Any force across the globe
that have given up their lives.
Is truly a humbling sacrifice, and we thank you for that. But we're today going to talk about something very specific to this topic, and that is Remembrance Day. Everything good, bad, and terrible about it. What really set me off was that a group of Afghan Canadians in this country on Remembrance Day in Toronto decided it would be a good idea to protest at a Remembrance Day parade, and this just boils my blood.
Pisses me off.
They go there and they protest, and then they say the angry old white racist Canadians were threatening them and being mean to them. Well, go figure. You go to a place of remembrance for us that we have shed our blood so that you have the right to speak your mind, to live as a free citizen of this nation. You come to our country, and then you use that to basically insult the people that have allowed you to do this. I'm going to get probably called a angry young white racist for this one, but and it's not just necessarily that because they're Afghan or because they're Muslim, because there are a lot of Muslims that, will take the time out of their day to remember Canadian soldiers. But for the love of God, I mean, if you're that pissed off about it, post it on the internet.
Post it on Facebook that only the people that are your friends and that agree with you or maybe even disagree with you. You can have your own little conflict on your Facebook, but don't.
We had an interesting discussion about the censorship of this kind of thing, which we'll probably touch in a later episode. But that just aggravated me because I don't agree with you saying that to begin with, because that's basically being a dick for the sake of being a dick. And I really, really do not condone the forum in which you did it. I mean, even doing it a couple days after Remembrance Day would have showed a little more class than going to where these veterans were. These veterans who have given up...
Still didn't make it right, but...
Well, no, but going to where these veterans are, these veterans who have literally given up their entire lives because you think these people can sleep at night after witnessing the horrors of war, and you basically berate them for doing their job and for giving you the liberty that you have. And if that makes me a racist, then for the love of God, I will be the proudest racist ever, because these people have sacrificed more than you could ever imagine. Even those that didn't lose their lives or the physical scars.
They sacrificed their time.
The physical scars aren't the only ones that these people have. And to basically spit in their face, unless you are a Fremen, is an insult of the utmost depravity, and I sincerely hope that the worst things happen to you, because even if someone came over from Bosnia who fought for the Serbian army and they committed atrocities, don't get me wrong, but at the same time they're still a soldier and they're still fighting for what they believe is right. I'm not going to call them a murdering coward scumbag for what they did. They were following the orders that they were given to them, and as a good soldier, you do what you are told.
And that's the same thing that goes along the line of the German soldiers. I'm not talking about the SF, the Waffen-SS, and all that sort of stuff. I'm talking about the soldiers fighting for Germany during World War II. I'm not angry at them. I don't blame them.
They were fighting for their country and what they believed to be their sovereignty. And you know what? To fight a war in itself is an amazing, just an absolutely astounding accomplishment. And I don't necessarily mean that in a good way, but just to be willing to put your everything on the line for a cause that you believe in so dearly. I will applaud you for that.
And that's where I'm going to just cut in here for a second. It's going a little off, but not off. We're still talking about our troops here. Now, a lot of people get a little pissed off at the fact that, oh well, we gotta, we just gotta take a moment of silence, gotta stand around, gotta wear a poppy. Listen, these men and women have given up everything, their families, their future, everything that they ever had to go overseas and fight for you, to make sure that you could go to work, to make sure that you could spend time with your family, that you can go and do whatever you wanted to do. So for that hour, for remembrance and wearing that poppy for one day,
a year is not too much to ask.
For the month of November till the 11th, it's not much to ask for people who have given up everything that you could have it, or for all the freedom that you have. Now I guess we're going to get into a little bit more of if Remembrance Day should be a holiday, because we're kind of tying that in. Just to end off my last say with this Muslim late women that did this thing in Toronto, I wouldn't go to a memorial for a Muslim soldiers who have died for whichever cause may have been, and rant and say terrible things to them. And I wouldn't. That's why I don't expect them to do that to us. And let's show that courtesy to everybody.
Show a little bit of couth, people, just a little bit, tiny morsel, please. Second part, a little more less angry and I suppose racist and hateful. Should Remembrance Day be a holiday, a national holiday?
You can put your comments and your opinions below.
I do and I don't. And this one is a really, really touchy subject for me. I would, as much as I would love to say, yes, make it a national holiday. Give us a day that we can celebrate these soldiers, that we can remember them, we can mourn them. The problem I have with that is, like basically every other holiday we have, 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, maybe not even that long, people will view it as yet just another day off where they can go out and get hammered and party with their friends and shop, and basically the entire meaning of the day is lost because we have a generation of arrogant, entitled douchebags that don't think everyone owes everything to them, when in reality we owe so much to so many other people. I really have a problem that this is even a discussion thing, because to not see that this would become another meaningless holiday is absolutely short-sighted. It totally would, and I think it's an absolute travesty to suggest it. But having said that, earlier today he actually came up with a very good sort of compromise to it.
Which was, I agree with him. I think it should be a holiday, but at the same time, it would just turn into a get drunk, have fun, and don't care. It's a day off, or even people that are working, it's more money. So I came up with the idea that, why don't we just have a half day of work? From, say everyone has a normal job between the hours of 9 to 5. I know it's not many of us do, but some of us do have those jobs. Now, from 9 o'clock in the morning till 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you have off. It's that time to go to your local downtown or wherever a memorial service is being held for Remembrance Day and participate in it. Watch it and really bring in that atmosphere to yourself. Even if you don't go, spend the time with the family. If you're going out with the kids or you're driving around, you're going to turn on the radio. You're going to hear something about Remembrance Day. I know in Barrie, Rock 95 really put on a really, really good Remembrance Day ceremony over the radio, and it was very well done. You can turn on your local news, and you will see everything about memorial services. And after that's done, you go back to work at 1 o'clock, and from 1 to 5, it's a normal day, and it's that memorial service will stick with you that day, the next day. Hell, it might even stick with you to the next year, to the next memorial service, because And going to a memorial service is really good, especially for our generation and the kids younger than us and even older than us, to get down to your memorial services on Remembrance Day. There are not many World War II vets left. And we need to thank these people, shake their hand, and say thank you for everything you've done. Because within the next 10 years, 20 years, there won't be any veterans to say thank you to from World War II. I think I read the statistic last year that there's only about 13 veterans left from World War I between North America North America.
The last one died like a couple of years ago. We were out. As weird as that sounds.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. The other thing actually that just him talking there made me realize was that World War II was a big one for us. But the thing is, it seems to be that once all the World War II vets die, it's going to phase out. It's like we're going to forget about the people that fought in Desert Storm, the Korean War, Vietnam, did peacekeeping missions in Bosnia or Herzegovina,
Somalia,
Somalian mission, the relief, even like relief
Korea.
efforts in Haiti. These people are all veterans too. The average age of a veteran in this country is 55. When most people think of a veteran, they think of an old man that fought in one of the great wars. But if you think about it, most of the people that are veterans nowadays were actually born after World War II ended. That also makes me a little bit sad that we don't really... And, I mean, it's not just us as citizens. I see it in the newspaper and on TV all the time that every time they show veterans, it's either the people currently serving or the people that are old that served in World War II. And they seem to sort of forget about all these other
20 to
minor conflicts. The 20-year-old, the 30-year-old that is no longer in the service, but maybe went over to Afghanistan, maybe served in Operation Medusa, maybe can't sleep at night. But no one ever thinks about that.
You gotta remember, guys, that this war has only recently kind of ended, and we've been at it since 2002. I mean, that's a pretty long time. That's 10 years we've been in this war. We have to thank these men and women who were over in Afghanistan, and like he said, that
once the veterans from World War II
go, is the memorial services going to be the same, or are we just going to kind of forget about it?
Forget that these people have served and people are actively serving in our armed forces that are deployed all over the world that still deserve our thanks. But we just sort of bypass them and throw them into this category of, oh, they can deal with it. Just before we go here, because we're sort of running out of time, one thing that I really think this entire thing stems from is the fact that we, as not just necessarily a nation, but as a civilization, as humans on the whole, is we like to be dicks for the sake of being dicks. And I explained this to you earlier. We could have Remembrance Day as a holiday. We totally could. And these protests wouldn't be a problem if we were able to grow up and act like the adults that we all are. But we won't do it because we're too paranoid, we're too afraid, and we need someone to tell us what's right, what's wrong. If we could just think for a minute and act like the rational human beings that deep down inside we all are, having Remembrance Day as a holiday would be a wonderful thing. But until that happens, keep it the way it is or make it a half day, because...
Just before we go, any veterans that fought in Afghanistan or any previous wars, I want to hear the men and women who have fought in the most recent war. Let us know how long you were there, how many tours you did. Again, we give our utmost thanks to you. And I would like to know if you've shown up to the memorial services this year, and if you will in the future. Anyways,
as always, spoiling point, I'm him and that's me, and we're outside for now.
Make sure you comment, subscribe, and like. Thank you.
We're gonna whore ourselves out.